That's right. The other aspect is these conflicts. How many more black swan events are we now going to anticipate over the next 3 to 4 years, which are critical years for our growth? That's going to be important. Meanwhile, old tax regime, new tax regime. Will what the finance minister has announced, because the government wanted the new tax regime to be onboarded. They have now said that default tax plan is the new tax regime. It's not your old tax regime. So what are the slabs? How do they look? Can we just go a little bigger on that? Because this is not very legible for the viewer. So we'll see if we can go bigger on the screen with the new slabs and the old slabs. So 0 to 3 lakh, it's nil. 0 to 2.5 lakhs, it was nil. 3 lakh to 6 lakh, it was 5%. That's what it is. Then 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, it was 5%. 6 lakh rupees to 9 lakh rupees, it was 10%. Now, and then there was 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh, which was 10%. 9 lakh rupees to 12 lakh rupees was 15%. 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakh rupees was 15%. So there are multiple slabs. Those slabs have also come down from the old slabs to the new slabs. You see the number of slabs also reducing and the bracket also increasing. In the new tax slabs, 9 to 12 lakhs is 15%. 12 to 15 lakhs is 20%, and anybody above 15 lakhs is 30%. So the multiple slabs have also been reduced. The bands have also increased between the new slab and the previous slab. How much of this is going to result in perhaps a popular sentiment towards the government? Is this now going to be a vote card on ground? Ki tax ghata diya sarkar ne, ab to vote do. Is that going to happen? Is the BJP going to use it? Nalin Mehta?
I think this is an attempt to create a feel-good sentiment because a lot of the people in the middle class would have argued कि हमें क्या मिला?
Correct.
बाकी सबको मिला.
टैक्स तो कटाया नहीं.
हमारा क्या हुआ? तो 17-18 में कुछ हुआ था, उसके बाद से ज्यादा नहीं हुआ. And the middle class is one of the great votaries of the BJP and continues to support the Prime Minister and so on. All the surveys show that. Now, in this is also in the backdrop of a time when you're having large debates around the government employees in this country, around the old pension scheme, as well as what is happening to the middle class, the broader middle class.
Correct.
So in that context, these are specific, tangible positives that the government can go and tell the middle classes that look, आपकी जेब में हमने इतना पैसा डाला. Like for example, I was struck by the fact that the finance minister was not just giving the slab. She was specifically giving examples of 45,000 rupees ज़्यादा आपकी जेब में अब आएगा.
Correct.
In one particular thing.
Correct. 9 lakhs wala case mein, she said you'll have to now pay 1,48,000 rupees as tax. Earlier you were paying about 1,80,000 rupees. So that's right. What you save. So clearly saying, अरे इतना पैसा बच रहा है. That's a lot of money when you look at it like that. So
these 5 announcements that she made specific to direct taxation, I think, and the emphasis she made on it, she ended on that.
Correct.
I think it signals in certain ways that the government is very cognizant of the next year and a half, and it's given a very clear signal to the middle classes.
So that perhaps is a populist measure, necessary measure. Sunil Alag, Saket Mishra is also with us. Have you already calculated कि आपका कितना tax बचा है?
Measure, but it was expected 2 साल के लिए नहीं किया था because the government was spending all the money with the poor or whatever they've got they were spending, and therefore they felt that the middle class and the very rich could afford would have to tighten their own belts. What is important in this budget is that the states must now play ball apart from the private sector. You know, it's just opposing the government and saying any central scheme I will not introduce or I will go slow on. They are damaging their own state and their own possibilities of going in. So therefore, the private sector has to step in. The government, state governments where BJP is not there has to step in and say, look, we are supporting this now to the helm. And therefore, that's the only thing, because the scale of operations which Gurcharan talked about is very important, because ultimately at the end of the day, we've got an opportunity on Chinese steel and Sri Lanka tea. Now, we haven't taken full advantage of that. Sri Lanka is in the doldrums, China is in the doldrums, and we must move our tea out and say, look, buy Indian tea. We were number one 15, 20, 25 years ago. Where have we lost out? Because on scale.
Right.
And therefore, to move in, and the gaps created by all these companies and all these countries should be taken up by scale. And textiles, for instance, Bangladesh has moved on ahead because we don't have a single scaled operation on textiles. You know, I mean, compared to Bangladesh and compared to Sri Lanka, why does M&S, Marks and Spencers go to Bangladesh? Why does it go to Sri Lanka,
Right.
which is the made in Sri Lanka? They have to have made in India, and now the government has made in India a little proud. You know, when you go out, you say you're from India and people meet you. So we should not inhibit ourselves in buying anything which is made in India abroad or
Right.
in India and move up on our scale of operations. So therefore, the government has taken care of all of us. Look, I mean, this is a great budget as far as I'm concerned. And I don't, you know, there's no end to, as I said earlier, that there's no end to finding fault. Of course, there is something which they will have to look at. But in 18 months, they're going to, or maybe the new government will come back and ask the right questions, whether this has worked or not.
Well, I think Ridhima is in conversation with Ajay Singh, Senior VP, ASSOCHAM and CMD SpiceJet. She should be speaking with him. So we'll play that interview out the moment the conversation is over. We'll play the whole conversation. In the meantime, our research has sent me some information, interesting information. Pick up the phones, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us, what do you think about the new tax regime? Saket Mishra is back in the studio with us. Tapti Ghosh is also there. Nalin Mehta, Gaurav Chaudhary with us. So they will put their heads together and say how much tax you are going to save. What is it? Should you migrate to the new tax regime already? If you have not done so far, new tax regime becomes the new default tax bracket. That's how your tax will be calculated going forward. That's also something which he said very clearly. So 0120-434-1895. So whatever queries you have vis-a-vis tax, please pick up the phone, dial in, and we'll patch you through. Meanwhile, here are some of the major expenditure subheads in crores, rupees in crores. So, defense expenditure has gone up by 6% from about 40.9 lakh crore, 40,900 crore to 43,270 crore. That is what, that's the up in 23-24. Education has gone up by 13%. From 99,881 crore to 1,12,899 crore. Health has gone up by 15% from 77,351 crore in 22-23 to 23-24. It's gone up to 88,956 crore rupees. Rural development, it's actually gone down by 2.1%. So it was 2,43,317 crore in the last year. This year's budget, 23-24, says 2,38,204, so down by 2.1%. So rural development spending there. Social welfare gone up by 18.4% from 46,502 crore to 55,080 crore. Home affairs has gone up by 18%, 1,24,872 crore, and it's gone up to 1,34,917 crore. So in rural development, there is a 2.1% dip. But in terms of social welfare, it's gone up by 18.4%. So are the outlays now being rethought? Is there a rethink which is happening? Or the focus very clearly says, let's try and socially empower even in the rural areas rather than just putting money in the hands of an individual, create an environment where they feel empowered and then they are also encouraged to become perhaps entrepreneurs and also skilled so that they can get employment. Manrega down by 30%. Suresh from Bengaluru is our first caller. I'll get into the outlay on major schemes in just a bit. But yes, Suresh, namaste. Thank you for calling in. Tell us.
Namaste. Yeah. See, what I want to say here is, under the old regime, the ATD and ATC still remains, right? And under the new regime, if anybody wants to buy a flat, he doesn't get any benefit. So the 7 lakh rupees is hardly anything for a salaried class.